have access to the pages through Facebook. So in saying that, I'm gonna organically grow my group instead of having to pay for ads and everything else. And then eventually, my ultimate goal is this: is that once I have a really big following on my Facebook page through my assistant working the page for me, meaning one would be actually posting all the content that's very relevant and stays within my lane, not taking me off on some wild goose chase, but keeping me very focused on the information that I want to put out, and then have another assistant that's going to come back in behind and answer questions. Talk to everybody in the group, keep the momentum going, if you will. And then there's going to be personally, but I can't be there 24 hours a day, and I can't be there every day. So as long as I have some kind of content generating on my page, that keeps that page active and makes people want to keep coming back in, gathering information, learning something. And I want to make it very learning friendly, where they come in there and they're getting real value. So in creating my newsletter, I have set up a prompt that is very detailed and very it gives out really good relevant information that is today's information, is cutting edge, and I want to stay out in front of what's happening in AI. I want to be right there when it's happening. I want to be able to capture what's new, and I want to be able to share that with everybody. So, I want them to really see me as an authority in the field. And then at the same time, I'm building up skills like crazy, especially with this coding. This community is just a wealth of information, and the way it's being taught. I wouldn't believe I'm at where I'm at right now today if it wasn't for this community, And so thank you, Christian, for inviting me, Ismaz, for all your great teachings here. So, it's just a wonderful thing. And, it's just going to keep growing. And, on the backside of that whole thing is that once you grow your community, you want to somehow pull it off of Facebook and put it into your own portal where you control it. Now you have access to everything. So if one day Facebook says, you know what, we're going to take down your group or your page, and you lose all 100,000 people you just had or your whole following. But if you move that over to something that you control and you manage, now you have a real true following and true community that's yours, and you can cater to that community. You can offer them all kind of services and things like that. It's so many things I have in the back of my head that I'm going to keep stacking on this thing that's going to be unbelievable. It's really big, and I think these assistants is going to really help me get there so much quicker. But there's a lot of things you can do to monetize it as well, and that's in the back of my head as also.
Yeah, this is a great point, Joey. And what Joey also discussed is a very important aspect of digital marketing is setting up your distribution channels, right? So as you know, AI is not like this magic bullet. It enhances what you're already doing. So if you are a business leader, if you have some special knowledge, ideas, definitely share it with the world. Use AI to set up these distribution channels, speed things up, because everybody needs to hear you. People need to hear your voice. And it's the same thing I'm doing, right? All I'm doing is I'm putting myself out there, YouTube, you name it. And the future is going to be building communities. So what better way to do it is to collect email address. As cliche as it sounds, it is. And I've talked to a lot of digital marketers, a lot of my mentors are digital marketers. They said, look, if you are to find 80-20 with this digital marketing, just get the email. Because as you can see, with every email, you can connect with the audience. You can also post your YouTube video in the email. You can also just share stories, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, Joey, you're definitely on the right track. And I think what's also another interesting thing you talked about is owning your stuff, right? Because this is what I want for everyone to have that experience. Like when you start unlocking those capabilities, when you understand truly how to talk with AI, it's not like you need development. As you can see, Joey, does not have a development background. Joey, can you tell me about your development experience? Like, did you know any code before? And how was it like writing this? I think you showed us like 100 lines of something code, and you were able to fix it in 2 seconds without knowing code. Like, how is that even possible? Can you tell me a little bit more about that experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So my coding experience is very minimal. You know, a little bit of Java and some HTML back many years ago. So now it's like it's all foreign to me. You know, when I first started looking at it, I was like, man, I don't want to do this. I was looking at building some chatbots for a customer, and I said, you know what? I want to do it. I want to build an assistant. That's so much more powerful. You know, because I'm reading all the time and I'm learning about what's out there, all the new things. And I started looking at it. I said, man, I can't. There's no way I can do that. I looked at that code that I just showed you guys. That would have freaked me out. That's just way too mind-boggling, right? But if you really learn the skill set and how to use the developer tools, it never really clicked or turned the light bulb never really came on to really think about it in that way. But learning how to use the tools, that really flipped the switch. Now the tool's doing the work for me. I just had to be good at using those skills to learn how to use the tools, right? And let the tools do the work for me. And that was a gift right there. And once that started coming together, everything started changing. And man, and you can do this. And I tell you, in 4 weeks, you'll be amazed at what you can do.
I know, right? Yeah, no, I love it, because that's exactly what I want people to have. That feeling is like you can create stuff. Because people back then, I think a long time ago, I had ideas. Hey, I want to create my app. I want to do this and that. But I just don't have time to learn coding. I don't, because I'm not a coder. I love creating stuff, solving problems with it, and that's the only reason I picked up some development. But now it's like a great opportunity. You just tell your developer whatever you want to create. Maybe like in 3-4 months, you're going to be sitting in the couch and you're going to be thinking, all right, I have an idea. Okay, Mr. Agent, build an app, build a Chrome extension, build this and that. But you have to all have to start with you. You have to have that $1 million idea first, right? So I would rather you have $1 million idea than you be stuck with the development stuff. Because if you're without an idea, without problem solving skills, it doesn't matter, right? So I always say this, like, Joey, what I'm trying to do here is teach a man how to fish rather than give you the fish, right? So I'm going to draw a picture of a fish. Okay. It sounds very cliche, but it is what's really needed in the AI space. If you know how to make your own tools, if you know how to catch your own fish, and I've been in Lake Galveston a couple of times catching fish. One of my buddies, he got me a fishing license, right? So we used to go out there to Lake Galveston, and he was like, "Yeah, you gotta use those nets," because I also come from Bangladesh, right? And we do fishing different, like with these nets and stuff. So he said, "Hey, look, you got to use these nets and all that," and he caught a boatload of fish. And as soon as he taught me that, I was like, man, like I shouldn't be going to, these fish markets anymore. I should just bring a net, catch a fish, fry it, do all that. It just feels good, And anyways, you can imagine that for yourself. You can go to anywhere and just create these solutions just because you know how to create stuff. So I think this is powerful. I can't begin to explain, Joey, like what's good. What future has in store for you, but I can tell you that you're on the ramp to I-10. You're gonna cruising very soon, but and we'd love to hear your story every step of the way.
Yeah, I will tell you this. I actually had a 3-hour conversation with a potential customer last night, and I shared this with you and Christian already. I mentioned it to you guys about what was going on. So I actually sat down face to face with a guy for 3 hours last night. Very smart dude, and we were talking about the legal